Because so often you hear Alpha say it's a make or break. If he's Sentinel jailed, he has less of a good time. He doesn't want to be playing Killjoy for 3 maps in a row. Same for the other side as well. We're going to get some Kiko camo, very explosive Kiko camo stuff, as to be expected.
Yeah, Patitech with the Sky, Trex with the Gecko. I think that those two, of course, are also going to be very, very important. Very good to have Trex with that recurrent utility. When we're speaking about the plants and getting the spike down, we're looking at Wingman, of course, just across onto the map. I think that's something that we just saw from BBL versus Vitality, is how BBL had the timing of the Wingman very well cut up, and they were trying to prevent that plant from happening. I think that is also going to be key for today.
Yes, my goodness, Chronicle was a menace last week. He single-handedly, I think, kept them in a lot of those rounds, and we get Chron versus Nats on Viper in 2025. Honestly, the Gambit fango in me is bleeding. It is a full bleeding.
This is going to be an absolute banger, friends. I'm ready for it, and I had a really great point that I no longer will get to say. It's time to send it over to our casters, Mitch Mann and Tom Biz.
Thank you, Dracos, and our wonderful analyst desk. It's time to kick this matchup off. We've got Team Liquid and Fnatic, and as Sue said towards the end there, Nats versus Chronicle, both on the Vipers as well. What a treat this is about to be.
Well, that sort of is this game in general, isn't it? It's the storylines. There's so much history between these two, but you kind of want to lean into who's in form at the moment, and that's why I'm looking at Nats and Alfia. These two were incredible over the last couple of weeks. I think that Alfia has been back in that sort of top form, switching up his agent pool all the way through, and Nats, while leading the team, is still running at that 231 ACS. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top today, but as it was mentioned on that desk, it really is a scenario where you have those Vipers kicking off, and I think that you in particular, you see Nats on Viper and you see Chronicle on Bind. It brings back some memories.
Absolutely, yes. The good old days, rolling back the years, but now they're on opposite sides. It's going to be very interesting. Nats last week was 10-1 in opening duels. Maybe here he'll be the last man to fall. The first one will be Chronicle. He's already lost his duel. As a crunch comes in from Fnatic, they go through the teleporter and out of the round. An almost immediate shutdown from Team Liquid as they're ready and waiting when the doors fly open and Crashies is left all alone.
Yeah, it seemed like Fnatic had a good read on what their opponents were going to attempt. The TP used early, but it was the reaction instead from Liquid that comes out on top. And while Crashies, the lone American within a sea of EMEA, an awful lot to attempt in this round, of course. Ultimate Orbs would be nice. I don't know if he's going to get given much. In fact, it's the long-range frenzy of Camo that will convert his triple. Another orb for him already onto the board, and Liquid off with a flying start.
Yeah, that's a huge round for Camo. 3 pickups. Managing to get himself a lead the plant as well. Orb is the orb. And both, actually. Now he's going to be sitting just 3 away from the showstopper coming into the next round. A chance to have that online for Fnatic's first full buy. And we know how quickly a round can fly out of control once that rocket comes your way. This is going to be something we see a lot as well. Nats sat outside the A site, that same Viper wall that we know him for, the Nats wall. It's going to cause problems deep into the round, give the option to rotate back, especially with that teleporter outside B long, but Liquid, for now at least, making a lot of noise, making it seem like they're going to take it very direct. It all depends on what this man's able to find.
Yeah, it always makes me a little bit nervous seeing one player lurking with such a high-value weapon. And you consider there's a couple of players with light shields. If it went into enemy hands, that would be a problem, but luckily the hands it's in are pretty safe. Boaster's done well, though. Jumping out of Hookah, has already managed to find one. Of course, the plant in their favor will make things incredibly difficult. But Alfia is so patient. It's not the prettiest of fights, but another going their way. The death toll starting to become a problem. And actually, already seeing Chronicle onto that defuse. There needs to be someone there to try and stop him, as somehow they're going to make that pay save card Drifty work. Right back on the board of Fnatic.
An immediate response. They only lose players their first death after the round's even been won. Nat's lurking over there, and if he had a better weapon, I think he still would have lost that fight. Alpha filling in the space perfectly, waiting for that rotation. but it's the flood in on the B side. It's Boaster with a classic. That's a hell of an answer back from Fnatic.
Classic jumping out of hookah that somehow wins a battle versus a rifle. They could have definitely got to be a little bit flustered after that one. It's early days in the series, but of course this is their map choice. Corrode was probably a huge surprise. And speaking of surprises, Boaster stuck placing his stars in, I would say, a very unorthodox position.
Yeah, unorthodox being used here as a synonym for the word bad. Not sure what was going on there. Free space taken, an easy pickup, and after a phenomenal round jumping out of hookah in the previous, he's had a bit of a blunder here. Still, that weapon down on the side of Fnatic. They've got plenty more to work with than a good read. I was waiting to see this rotation. It's the deep push from Kayak, the quick rotate over from the rest of the members. There'll be 3 on this A site, ready and waiting for the push, but still 2 weapons for Team Liquid and a showstopper fired through to take that space. It's going to be respected as Fnatic fall back.
Sort of respected. I'm looking where Alfia is on the edge of the smoke. It makes me a little bit nervous, but there wasn't any reason to fire it in that direction. Just like the last round, there's a serious advantage. And while Kayak, yeah, he's being watched, but this fight is everything. Trek's going down. That's one of the guns on the deck and leaves only the other in the hands of Patatek. You can see he's looking to try and find that flanker, but instead, all of the showers are going to be cleared out. They'll know roughly where they are and start to deal with them easily.
I like the idea to go a little bit more aggressive, go in for the disruptive play with the classics, but they've lost the fights. Now it makes it much easier to deal with. Kiko finding window, Patatek on another, a flash primed and ready, but up close is Alphayer dealing with the second as well. It's a good recovery on what would have been a horrible fumble early on. Fnatic will take the lead.
Yeah, you can see it. Both of these rounds have had, well, definitely the last one had a lot of fight, but this had a bit of fight to it considering the weaknesses for the side of Liquid. The main thing was that fight being fought from behind. Kayak's first kill is a high impact one. It put a lot of doubts in the mind of Liquid and more importantly, lost them the gun, but they will now come back with a buy of their own. Of course, with all those additional credits, that means that Kayak does have himself the operator on the board very early on in this game.
Another thing, the showstopper from Camo being used in the previous, them not finding the round off the back of it. They had their 2 rifles, they had a chance. They'd even one more rifle there. It could have been a completely different game. The lead for them and the economy in the bin, but Fnatic, they bounce back into it. This is their chance, the advantage of the operator. The spam from Paddy though. Boaster, I'll blame you for last round going down, but this one I can't fault for. That is unlucky.
It's always difficult as well. Like a lot of the time when you have this Astra in play, it's that global utility. You can see where the stars were placed with supportive utility set up to try and help out Kayak if he needed to escape. That's gone. Instead, the Seekers are going to be used in towards that B site. It's whether or not they push off of it. They may now.
The Chronicle fell back and gave the space. It means Alpha has to retreat. He has no way out through spawn. Couldn't cross the site, so he's now stuck inside of hookah and wary of a late play coming up from short. A lot of space here for Liquid. They're fighting into elbow. They're keeping these players back. Here comes Kayak to help out. Now they can try this 2-pronged approach, and the operator's going to find it very hard to find value. And as you're highlighting, Tom, that lurk that they were worried about, well, it is coming in late, very late, in fact, but that is the perfect recipe for Fnatic's disaster. But Nats is being caught. Alpha checked his back. Low HP on the final 2, though, and Camo and Trex get it across the line.
Fnatic were at least very careful in that late round position, but it means that they weren't focused enough on taking down the players on the site. Liquid with a good hold in the end, and yeah, that opening pick is just nasty. Panatek looking good in these opening rounds. Currently 7-2 on the board. But we have to set some expectations. Obviously, from what we've seen so far, last week it was a very dominant attack side coming out from Liquid, and the same could be said for Fnatic in their game versus Na'Vi. Even though the game went incredibly close, it was their attack, so if they can pull out a decent defensive half, there's definitely still a lot of potential. And we know this squad, especially now they brought the Teo in, as those post-plant kings. So I think this is definitely going to be a map of attack side halves.
Without a doubt, up he goes. Camo's got an angle on top of the site. Crashy's down, and well, he gets a little surprise of a few bullets to the abdomen, but...
Yeah, that's a Chronicle classic. That's a rifle. Just remember that.
And now it is literally...
Now it appeared, just as I...
Post-plant for Team Liquid. We talked about how strong Fnatic used to be in these. Well, now it's Liquid's turn to show us what they can do. No utility, though.
This is where Nats just farms, though. You put him in this position with a sniper, a single bullet will do the job, and he's going to immediately die after I said that. Nice. Wonderful. Well, cheers for that one, Nats. You would have hit that every other time, I'm certain. Diffuse going to be tapped, but the time is already gone. Not any hope for anything other than damage. And Browfer, finding a gun or something would be nice. Instead, he'll just find his demise. Liquid are going to take the lead back 3-2. But once more, this is where things will get interesting with guns and ults online.
Yeah, that was a great call, Tom. Nats farms here, an immediate famine strikes, but the rest of the squad able to clean it up and get out with those 3 weapons. The teleporter helping them to quickly put distance between them and the volatile spike. 3-2. Team Liquid's lead after the pistol round back in their hands finally. But for Fnatic, they're coming up against a couple ults almost online, but theirs are already ready to go off rip at the start of the round. And on this map, you will at least get one relatively easily as the attackers. A chance to play for this TP, but in goes Kayak! It's a double! The nade in there for security to open the door early, and that has caught them right off guard.
Ah, yeah, you said one of those comes easy, but it seems like Fnatic had other ideas. Kiko's still been a menace. And Nats is still standing. They're going to look to swing this one together. Crashies will be traded out. And actually, Nats has found 2. His old teammate biting the dust. And the other couple of Fnatic players are a little bit further away. Of course, for Liquid, they won't know that. They'll almost assume that that spike is being even more heavily guarded than it was just moments ago. Boaster's actually sneaking his way back into Lamps. And they might expect is to be a little bit more clear. Timing for Paditek is going to be everything, and it is perfect. That Viper's Pit worked as a distraction, but Alpha is still here. And with his ultimate online, there's not a whole lot of places you can stand.
At least bought a moment there. Nats spotted 2. Alpha knows now that Nats is looking for the kill. There goes the next tap, and he's already outside of that ultimate range. Plant comes in, but Alpha knows that he must be in that area. It was the only space left open. The spam that gets him the round. I thought that could have been disastrous because it seems like in so many of these rounds, Paditek has Boaster's number. Sometimes just through the smoke at random, but right there, that starting with the TP from Kayak, but the ult used as a distraction was beautiful.
Yeah, very intelligent Red Bull clutch from Alpha. Yeah. Just basically forming an angle that Nats had to sit in, like using the drone initially, forcing him to move so that you're not going to stay in the same place, pulling him out further, then the Armageddon creating a very small gap that he can sit within the pit. And the second he plants, Alpha realizes, well, I've already boxed off everywhere else. He has to be sitting here. Smart stuff. That will be a scoreline equalized. A close round, though. And looking at the extra credits for either side, this round ends up being everything.
They can invest a lot. We've already seen Thrash thrown in from Trex. There's an orbital strike if they can grab some info. Down goes the Viper's Pit and a jump over the rocket! Camo's blast pack keeps him alive! It's an explosive start for Team Liquid, but they've lost Nats. Camo low with the decay. The health will slowly creep back up, but these players, they're gonna have to go back and grab that spike. Even a quick TP off the cards, and Fnatic have fully rotated in. The other thing is, that pit was there. They know that Chronicle's likely around Lamps. The thing is, he doesn't really have the weapon to go challenging them with the judge in hand, but if they come in and challenge him, it seems like Paditek's toying with the idea of this could be a disaster.
The only thing will be is if Liquid TP. That's the one sort of thing that's actually saving them, is the other side of the map. Well, okay, the challenge somehow worked out. Damage coming through. Kiko swings and brings it back into a 2v2, and Camo adds another to the death toll. Now he has a chance at a showstopper, but hitting this will not be easy. Boaster even risking the spam, baiting him into firing that rocket, and it won't land a single point of damage. But Patitek, you mentioned it, he's had his number all game long.
Yeah, another one added to the tally. Patitek's got to feel like he's just got one up on the IGL on the other side. That was wonderful, though.
New Kid would be proud of that one.
Without a doubt. Wouldn't be able to show his player cam afterwards, though. That was a really nice reaction. Realizing that he was in danger, Camo insta blast packs, dodges the rocket, takes down the Rocketeer, and from there gives Team Liquid a chance. 4-3 now. Rounds going back and forth, but Fnatic very limited in their ability to challenge for this one.
Yeah.
Their credits are low.
Oh, it's the Polish contingency of the Liquid side that has been taking over this one so far. Camo and Patitek have been on fire. Kayak having a moment or two, but I think there's definitely more to come. Seekers, well, none of them going back in the other direction. That's immediate alarm bells, even though you don't get the information on every player. It's enough for Liquid to make an educated guess. They're still being careful. Tiger going to the back of site. Little Bro being sent out to make sure nobody can die while planting. But from this point onwards, well, unless we're getting a similar scenario to the early rounds, it should be very easy.
Camo on top of the totem pole is a little obvious at this point, but he still gets one before going down. If that's the only loss Team Liquid leave here with, this is going to be a hugely successful round, and you can see it's only Classics that they're up against. An easy cleanup to close out this round here and put Team Liquid up to 5. A 2-round gap between these teams now. The attack side certainly looking to have their hands firmly wrapped around the reins early on.
This is it's going to be an early pause as well. Well, actually not that early. 5-3, but it's been a back and forth that now Liquid seem to be coming out on top of. I think that's one of the fun things with this series is that a lot of the time when you look at teams that are yet to lose, especially going into the last couple of weeks, you'll sit there and go, okay, they've just been better than everybody else by a considerable margin. But you go back to the prior weeks and Liquid losing a map to Apex and Koi, both teams that are already obviously out of there. A very close game for Fnatic last week as well. It feels like both of these teams can bleed. But at the same time, I think it's very tricky to talk about who comes in as favorites. I think maybe based on just having the roster together for slightly longer, I'd go the way of Fnatic and of course their current international escapades. But I will say that makes me very excited for Liquid in the sense of Trex won't be anywhere near the peak of what he can be in this team. If they get him there, they could be a contender going into champs, like genuinely. This guy is incredibly good.
Now that's not that surprising of a stat, and that's the best performing IGL in the world, putting up 235 ACS this stage. Valen being second. He's only a little bit behind.
You do have to say that Valen is having to carry Baby Bay. So like, there is that.
Well, listen, it's his fault because he hasn't put Baby Bay on the Phoenix. Then we'll see his true power unleashed.
Yeah, then Baby Bay will cut. I can't even say it. They carry. He'll carry. Nonetheless, Kayak, he's taken down that high-performing IGL. Won't be the opener that should make things that little bit tougher, getting rid of that Viper Scream, which a lot of the time will put opponents into disarray.
2-round gap. Nat's down already. We talked about his opening duels, and he's lost his life, but so has Chronicle. Down goes that screen. It's only containing the bath control, and they have flooded firmly through short. Camo with another poster, toying with the idea of swinging wide, and he'll get the kill. He's taking Camo down. That's put the numbers back to even Stevens, and we've got a Cosmic Divide potentially to come in here, block out that short player. Although and there it is, but Patitek got him, well, it's actually blocking out most of the team. Patitek's got himself that guiding light, the Sky Flash, to play right through.
Out of charges.
The molly used here to contain that space, that they now know there's no one coming behind them and decide to fight forward. Trex went on his own. I thought they'd go together, perhaps off the Sky Flash, but it's fragmented. It's individual duels that they're searching for, and so far back and forth till Alpha has his say. Fnatic winning that one out, but you have to think that Team Liquid, they gave a few opportunities there. Oh, that looked chaotic.
Yeah, it was very, very scrappy. Like a back and forth early on, which seems to be a story of a lot of these rounds. But yeah, I guess with having that molly initially put through, they went, well, the surprise factor here would be if we go through as well. They used the other molly to make sure they couldn't get flanked. But I do agree, if you have both of those online on the spike, I feel like there was very little that Fnatic would be able to do.
I'll tell you what, our third-person observer, Jack Igo's looking at that, and he'll have some notes for the Sky player. If he just started singing Maroon 5 and popped that flash through, it would have been a completely different game.
He'll do that in post.
He always does.
5-4. Liquid still hold on to the lead, but more importantly, they still hold on to the economy, at least for this round. There's a few pieces missing for Fnatic, although at times those Guardians have never really been a vulnerability. And this mid fight has been so interesting. We've seen it from Kayak, we've now seen it from Alpha. It's almost just disrespect on the swing. Trex is gone, and more importantly, so is the Thrash.
Yeah, that's a big blow dealt to Team Liquid. This could have gotten them a lot of space for free. Instead, they'll have to brawl for it. Towards the B side is the decision, but the rotates come in. The man who took the opening duel on A short not that long ago is now embedded on this B site and ready for a fight. Alphier, Boaster, and Crashies standing by as the blast pack comes in. They definitely know where Alpha is. They saw those salvos go out, but it's Boaster. They've got to deal with Alpha playing this patiently. And with 30 seconds on the clock and the spike down, Liquid are running out of options, especially with an op for this. I mean, push into a site, dive out of hookah. You're never going to go for it.
That's unfortunate truth, but the best case for them here is to just hold on to the weaponry. And after the pause was called by Fnatic, it has been a couple of rounds in a row. Although what I'll say is a lot of what it feels from Fnatic is just being that little bit more boisterous. Just like not showing that same sort of respect to Liquid that we've seen them give earlier in the match with swings from Kayak, swings from Alpha, basically just taking those individual battles. And that has definitely worked out for them thus far.
Yeah, it has, without a doubt. Listen, don't let those stats fool you. Opening duels, it says, but if we talk about the usual first kills to first deaths, Alpha was 7-7. He was even last week coming out of it. A man that certainly likes to be involved in those early fights, and we saw that in this round. There was no utility. There was no setup. There was just Alpha with a gun and sheer willpower, and he got them that opening duel, which was one of 2 picks in the entire round. And then actually, you could say the salvos got them the round in the end because it stopped anyone from pushing alongside Camo.
Already. Be looking to try and pick up the pace. Crashies did get caught by the Tiger, and well, more importantly, has been caught by Camo. He has been sublime. The trades back and forth leave us even. That has been happening almost every single round of this game. No one able to get a solid foothold. Once again, that Armageddon will be used for spacing. Paditek, he walks in front and still comes out alive.
Well, he had no choice. If he went back, he would have been killed by the Armageddon. They isolated him, but now they've been taken down one by one. Fnatic, they thought they had the right play there, but again, Paditek's bailed them out, got them that side control. And it's been a bit of a menace for Boaster. He's been hit through that smoke so many times now. That can't feel good.
Yeah, it's been a crazy performance again. It feels like the Paditek and Camo show. Sure, Kiko joined them to sort of close that one out, but in terms of those entries, in terms of the space being taken, it has been sublime. And while Camo now comes in with a showstopper, I will say it definitely hasn't been the reason for his impact thus far. Already holding on to some of that initial space as he'll go pushing through, looking to try and find someone, but they have already retreated. A quick flank, though, is already on the boards for Fnatic.
Oh, it's not exactly flying under the radar. They've spotted Alpha. The Cabbages have found him. The wraparound
didn't see Boaster.
The thing is, though, they saw a player. They don't know that player is still in that position, so they are looking right now for someone being around here, going for that sneaky flank. And Kiko, he's turned away at just the wrong moment. It's a freebie for Boaster. Chronicles picked up Camo with a stinger in hand. They now think that Boaster's the one flanking. Alpha shows his hand and has a chance to divide this push. They come in from each side, but Nats goes past through the orb. Sneaky around his own utility. Alpha in there for the double as the clock runs dry. The round is already done. Unbelievable stuff from Nats. He disrupted them completely.
This will be something that just Nats will do until the end of time. Put his Viper Wall down, make plays around it, and just cause confusion for the opposing side. It is still a close half at the end of the day, though, and now Fnatic will head into the attack after the break.
One enemy remaining. Bring it down.
Welcome back, folks. 7-5 to Team Liquid. They won the pistol round, but there was a little bit of a stumble at the start of the half, but they firmly grabbed control coming out of that. 5 rounds on the defense. Fnatic moved to the attack. Is that enough, Tom?
Yeah, definitely. I think both these teams have showed their sort of prowess when it comes in onto their attack side. Well, there you go, 100% of their 13 post plants at this stage, the highest win rate. They are looking very, very good. And I think we think back to Bind, even all the way back to early Fnatic, they have always been the ratty post-plant kings.
Yeah, and as you said, starting out this map, when you look at the inclusion of Tejo on Alpha Air, or Alpha Air on Tejo, whichever way you want to look at it, this is only going to add to the pain points that you have with, well, I was going to start naming with everybody that they have in play. This entire composition, even if there's 2 players left alive, it doesn't matter what 2. You could have a nightmare trying to defuse that spike. For Team Liquid, that will be something that they have to deal with if, I suppose when, they allow Fnatic onto the site. For now, a very, very passive look. This is 3 players stacked up on A. They're not even looking for the information. They're playing backside together, allowing that initial burst of utility to come in, and they will then fight afterwards. I like this approach from Liquid, especially, as we said, Fnatic have a lot of that oppressive utility, not just for post plants.
Yeah, the difference, though, is that Liquid have always had a lot for delay. They have the double initiator that gets in the info, and then they have that double controller. Fnatic have managed to wait a lot of that out, but even just looking at the denial, that's the whole goal. Deny them the plant, and well, so far so good, but it's the trade back and forth. Boaster and Alpha. No post plants to be had this time, as it will be an immediate fight from Camo. He's trying to deny. And while they already heard the teleport used from Kiko, they're going to have a rough idea where he's coming from.
No utility for Fnatic. The later rounds, they'll have full belts, and that's where the big problems start to rear their ugly heads. For Kiko, this will be the easiest of them, but he's still got 2 to take down. Alpha on 10 HP, but no information on where these players might be hiding. And in fact, I said no utility. 1 star was refreshing. They just place it down, knowing he'll be looking for a fight, and he does get one. Even with 10 HP, Alpha's able to win that. I love Liquid's approach. They lose the round, sure. The fights don't even go that well, but using their own poison orb, going inside it, and having a Sky and a Gecko flash out, those players are blind as can be. The only downside is they weren't as deep into the site as Liquid hoped they were.
Oh, maybe it's just a special day for Fanatec because I'm pretty certain those credentials are going to be changing throughout this. He did play for a few rotter teams here and there as well, so that probably didn't help him out. He's on a good one now, though.
Yeah, that old Heretics lineup, they were...
Yeah. I like their coach, though.
Yeah, Neil's great. I love Neil. You're out there.
Oh, 7-6. The lead likely to dissipate. That salvo is just rude. He put that just onto the orb just to try and stop them taking it. And, well, he got there in the end, Althea. It's a 1 salvo for 2 orb trade, and he might even get a 3rd one. Really building towards that early Armageddon. And honestly, there's no one else on this side of the map, so he should have that orb.
I like that approach. You want an orb? I'll give it, yeah. Death, they find their reward. Boaster, yeah, he's not going to take that much of a risk backing off. I like this. We're in a 5v3 for Team Liquid. The only way they get a chance back into this is big individual mistakes, big weapons being handed over. And of course, you're seeing the scope on Boaster. It's not an outlaw, as we saw in that first round from Nats, or second round from Nats. If he has it first, we'd have a major problem. It is a Marshall, so even that going into...
Do you think they know he's there?
Not that big of a deal. They might know he's there.
Nats hit that from afar. I don't like that they're getting this much out of it. Obviously, the main weaponry is still in their hands. I think Boaster is going to upgrade very slightly to a Stinger. I'm off of Fanatec. He's going to chill.
Sending his final farewell. 7-7. Tied up now. The expected result after Fnatic find that pistol. A bit of damage in this round, sure, but reinvestment definitely possible with those lower investments that they had. I think they've lost, what, a Sheriff or a Demon. They probably recovered that. And of course the
Marshall.
Marshala. But all in all, my eye is drawn to this. 1 away from that ultimate for Alpha. He may have gone down, but it was still worth it.
But yeah, he's playing insane. 19-7. Currently a tied game in which, interestingly, they've lost 7 rounds. For now, at least, Liquid.
Poison's on.
A lot of the information is going to come off the back of the Sky Flash. Of course, in the past, it was something that would regenerate. You get more bites of the cherry. Now it comes down to timing. When Fanatec believes that he will get the most value out of it. But for Fnatic, they're very happy to be in this slow, passive round. They want to bait out those smokes. They want to make sure that Kiko's not going to have much left to play with. They want to try and remove some of those flashes from the likes of Trex. Make things tougher. And well, more importantly, they wanted to get that Armageddon. I'm definitely a little bit nervous for Camo, though. If he takes a step back, he might lose his life.
You just saw a deep flash come down here from Paddy. They cleared this space. Rotation can already take place. 3 players towards that A site. Kiko a little hesitant to leave. He could obviously be inside hookah, but with this utility going in, he'll be on his way soon.
All missiles away.
Fnatic got their space on site, but the plant will be hard to come by. Ult used now to claim them that space, and it's Boaster and Chronicle doubling up together. They've locked them out, and Alpha's even gotten a little more, catching an angle onto Trex. He was looking towards the site, wondering if he could disrupt the plant, catch a player overextending, and, well, it is Kiko that ends up doing that. 2v3.
It's given them a small chance. They're going to get stunned up by Althea, though. And that little bit of additional delay could be enough to cause them problems. Late start going down as well. I think that's enough to deter Liquid for any further attempts. It's a fantastic execution coming out of Fnatic that ends up setting up. And I want to give credit as well to Crashies with the Haunt. While all of that was going on, you're forced to move by the Armageddon. He throws a Haunt into the backline that just reveals someone and they're instantly dead. There's nowhere for them to go. Clever stuff, as always, when it comes to the attack side of Fnatic. And they now reclaim the lead once again.
It is the sort of thing that you'll see.
There you go. Look how easy that is for Chronicle.
Easy peasy, yeah, and you'll see this many times in like a ranked game. You throw in a Haunt and they just break it instantly, but it's all about overwhelming them, drawing their attention elsewhere, combining that utility in the chaos to throw your opponents off. 8-7, a 1-round gap now, but that round for Fnatic sets them up for success.
And this is something we want to talk about, of course. For anybody who doesn't know, Fnatic winning this matchup will send them to Champions. That is job done, although they might like a slightly higher seeding. It's always nice. But these are the players who have made it to those global events the most. Of course, I don't think you're surprised at all with the top 4 being Fnatic and ex-Fnatic. But Nats is, of course, up there as well, leading the way. And the guys from Foot, I'm sure, were wanting to try and get themselves into that playoff stage so they can battle for it. But of course, Champions is that event that everybody is looking to get to, is the goal of every organization. And for these two teams, well, I think we would be hard done by if they're not both there. If we're being brutally honest, especially with the points and the chance of like, okay, even though I think it's Fnatic and Heretics who have the most points, are they both not going to make it top 2? And so, like, the chance of that happening are very slim. So I'd say Liquid are still in a very strong position. But a win here, it's not guaranteed, but it's very close.
Always brings a smile to my face seeing a graphic like that. EMEA players at international events and then seeing Les included on the list. He's ours now.
He is. We've stolen him.
We're taking him. They're going to claim John QT. They're claim Les.
You know, he's technically has been to one with an EMEA
There we
team.
go.
Let's ignore the rest of them, though.
Yeah, mostly.
Bring them down.
There is a little bit of danger. 2 saved weapons, and that double flash is impossible to dodge. You can only shoot one of those flashes, and well, it doesn't seem to matter. They were blind for a moment, but you're not blind forever, unfortunately.
Yeah, that vision does return. And as you can see, it is with deadly consequences for Team Liquid pushing in that little bit late. And also the players that were safe from the flash initially. I think at least one of them was far enough back, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Alpha here. It's not the man you want to still have vision. Plus those sunglasses might block a little bit.
Yeah, you want him to be like blind, stunned, maybe his monitor's disconnected.
With an orbital strike, just smack bang in the middle of it.
Then you have a chance,
It's
especially
awesome.
with how in form he's been, not just this stage, but this map in particular.
I like that. Nats walking up, but Observers are ahead of us. Crashy's ahead of Nats. Catching him on the push. Tracks, well, they certainly know that he was here.
30 seconds
He's
left.
the man that threw in the flash, threw in the dizzy. He'll get a freebie. Alfier was low, didn't even need to be a headshot, but as always, Fnatic have that second layer with Chronicle further back. 9-7 now. 2-round gap, and the attack side undefeated so far. This is where that should change, and this is certainly where that has to change. Keep in mind, this is Liquid's map pick. They're now 0-4 on their defensive side, but the rifles are about to come out.
Yeah, this is a pretty scary position to be in. Of course, this was sort of your hope, especially after such a solid performance when they played versus Koi, but if Fnatic take this one, heading into Ascent, they had a close victory versus Apex, but this has been a map that, sure, Fnatic could have had losses on, but they've definitely looked very good in a general sense. And with Alfia performing on this map, him going into the next one on Chamber, I'd be terrified.
I mean, my hope here is that we get to a map 3, whatever the case. I want to see that corrode from both of these teams.
I want the reveal from Fnatic. We don't know what they're playing yet.
I can share what Scott told me around the water cooler before the game. He said that he's very confident they've got the map figured out.
Okay.
That makes me excited. But
if they've got it figured out this early on, I'll be surprised. I feel like
Milan and Scott, you'd be surprised.
I feel like maps always end up changing massively. Look what we have on Haven right now.
No, I just didn't think you were a doubter like that.
I'm a hater of anything.
Oh, that'll be clipped and shipped to them.
That's
I'll
fine.
make sure of that.
We're all the same height, so I think it's an even fight.
Yes, without a doubt. I reckon you could take Milan.
Oh, here we go. Clock being run late once again. Camo is the only player really left to defend this, but his goal is to hold on to the showers more than anything. Make things tougher, but he's been forced out. The value of those salvos and the read from Alpha so far this game has been fantastic, and Camo now has to question, can I go anywhere? Well, they pushed him up, but he still managed to find 2. Impressive stuff once again, and the swing out from Kiko with a flash alongside it. Both of them combining, and now all that is left is Kayak. A solid round from the individuals on the Liquid side, and even when they were pressed and pushed, they still got the job done.
Oh, that's cruel. That's cruel.
Yeah, I like the one on the left
line.
about traveling 11 hours to be here. That's a nice sign.
Yeah, right. A little more toxic.
Okay.
Nice, boys. Good job.
Just a smidge.
Nice
They're not
touch,
out
Nikito.
yet, though. There's no need for goodbyes. They win their game next week, and BBL beat Foot, which I'd say, of all the times they've played, this is where they're most likely to. BBL look better than ever. Foot look a little shaky. It's definitely not over for Vitality, but it is in question. These two teams, this map certainly not over, as we're one round away from equalizing, with Team Liquid having a great round in the previous. Camo and Kiko firing on all cylinders.
Look at the
One
ults
away,
as well.
yeah, exactly. One away from Orbital Strike and Viper's Pit. Trex and Camo have theirs primed and ready to go, and it's not exactly the same flavor on the Fnatic side. Some are close, sure. There will be quite a battle to get those orbs. Team Liquid with the safety nets.
Oh, Showstopper. It's going to go through. They've all escaped. It's at least going to reclaim some ground, and it does almost force Fnatic to the other side of the map. Re-clearing this will take an awful long time after losing so much space. But they have immediately switched to going in the other direction. Bear in mind, a single kill for Kiko would be Orbital Strike, but he's not going to get a chance to use it. The fight's already coming his way, but it's just a bait. It's a bait and switch. You leave Kiko in the corner, and he just comes out swinging.
Remaining.
He's finally put down, but the round is done.
Yeah, it certainly is. Boaster's looking to save. Oh, no, he's not. He's looking to punish. He goes in, takes Wingman down. Well, for that,
That's
Team
toxic.
Liquid will not let him live. He will be rightfully punished. Leave Wingman alone. 9-9. We're tied up now with Team Liquid having answers for every question mark thrown up for Fnatic. And the best part is, Tom, they didn't even use their full inventory of ultimates in that one. You mentioned Kiko getting his kills, finding that Orbital Strike. They have the Viper's Pit. They had the Thrash coming into the round. All three of those ultimates are still online. And for Fnatic, yes, they've got money, but they will have to contend with those in this all-important round.
But I love that round in general, though, because I feel like Liquid had everything set up. Like, they knew what was going to happen. They had the two players contacting over on long. So their goal was, okay, the second we see anyone, we use the Showstopper. And then once we take all that space, either they have to fight us, which takes a lot of time, we can rotate players over, or they do exactly what they did and they retreat. And then they fall back into that bait and switch setup. And Trex played it perfectly. He gets that one kill and then goes, look at me, I've gone back into lamps. You've got to track me down. And everybody else forgets that that corner could still have a player in it. Just smart stuff from Liquid that gives them a relatively easy round. And as we've said a million times, if you put someone like Kiko in a position where people aren't looking at him, they are dead.
Hell, half the time if they're in a position where they are looking at him.
That's also true.
Even the round before, you saw it. He came back in, 3 quick pickups. The round was done. That's 1-7 in matches against Fnatic. But he's 74 versus 52 against Boaster.
I'll be honest with
duels.
you, I think Boaster would rather be 7-1 up in matches than caring about his head-to-head.
I don't know. He's a hard cookie to crack. I think we'll have to ask
Not
him.
for Nazis, no.
Well, maybe in the IGL department he is.
Sure.
Not in the head-to-head duels. Deep push. Again, we see the same tactic. The flashes coming out of the smokes for Team Liquid. They immediately fall back. That space was not being fought for by Fnatic, though. They are playing this one passive, expecting some sort of a early push from Team Liquid, an early pressure.
There.
Nightfall online and a lot close. That Showstopper has now been picked up, but that's something I'm sure Liquid will be well aware of. They're trying to play ahead in terms of the information game, and they've already spotted out Chronicle. Hanitech wanting to try and fight ahead of this. Taking a few risks here and there, but I think they know with a Nightfall and a Showstopper, you don't want to allow your opponent to execute.
They're so close to this. There's no way for Camo to survive that. He tries the blast pack trick, but they're wise to it this time. Kayak taken down. Trex won't get out, though. That's done perfect from Alphair. He's stuck.
30 seconds left.
In comes the Orbital Strike, but Chronicle finds a kill around it. Hanitech falling, puts pressure on Kiko. He's delivered 2 rounds in a row, but this, a much bigger task. An easy pickup onto Crashies. That Snakebite falling puts pressure on him. But still a 2 versus 3. That Viper's Pit can be traded out. Chronicle and Nats both having theirs. But you look at the position of Chronicle, he won't be in a position to counter it. That's a good reaction from Nats. This ult gives them a leg up. It puts the pressure on Fnatic. They now have to fight back into this or risk it on the spams, but the snake bite goes through, forces him out of position, gets the kill for Boaster, and Alpha's all too keen to clean up double digits for Fnatic. Some of the dangers from Team Liquid used. Still that Thrash left.
Yeah, this is exactly what Liquid were hoping to avoid by being in more aggressive positions. They didn't want to allow Fnatic to get into those post plants, because you can even just see how long Chronicle holds onto that snakebite. He's just waiting until the very last moment, the second they're onto the site, and then, well, you know that that's in position, you know they can't be defusing anymore, so that's where the spams come through. It's just so good at knowing their angles and positions in those post-plant scenarios that they're very tough to play against. And that's where I will give credit to Liquid so far in the second half. They have done well to play ahead of it and not allow them to get into those spots.
Yeah, and they tried to here. We saw that be long push, as you said. We saw them get a little aggressive inside of Hookah, but ultimately that was their downfall, with Kayak striking with a great stun from Alphier. Round fell apart. Prowler catches Patatek, that forces him back. Fnatic again, no, they've got that control, but it's not for free. Paddy comes back to make them pay a heavy price indeed. Boaster's down to 18 HP. Nade's gone through. He's under a lot of pressure. He walked back into it. He almost died to that nade. But he's still surviving on 7, so they'll keep their smokes for now.
Yeah, Camo has sent it. Because of that, the advantage has diminished. Armageddon has been used to at least try and force someone into the waiting arms of Chronicle and maybe allow them to get out onto this site, but players are now ahead of that Cosmic Divide. Snakebite
30 seconds
also
left.
thrown in as well. They are starting to run out of time, and Nats is still here on the cross. It's only going to be the one, though, and that was the low HP Boaster. The Tiger will stun someone up, but getting in onto this is definitely not going to be easy. Even still, though, the time is on Liquid's side. 15 seconds left for them to try and plant, but Chronicle has done a good job to hold the line.
Oh, they know exactly where Trex is as well. Alpha immediately spinning after that kill on the Patatek. Yeah, we saw that snakebite come through from Chronicle outside of Hookah. They expected Patatek was still going to be up close, but Liquid, they played it wisely. They said, use your util, dump it in, we'll play back. We won't be isolated. But in the end, Chronicle being in that position to cover that plant, saved the day, and Alpha's quick reactions on the double sealed the deal.
Well, this is the final pause of regulation. Both teams have been back and forth throughout. And I will say, I think this is both times now that Fnatic have taken a pause. They have won, I think it's 2 rounds, straight off the bat of it. They have definitely been impactful, what is being spotted by the coaching staff. However, that is what you get when you have the 2 top teams within this group, at least. Heretics will definitely be in with an argument if you're talking overall, but either way, we know they're both up there. For Fnatic, now 2 away from taking their opponent's map choice and heading into Ascent, where I think most people will have them favored. This is definitely a dangerous looking scenario now for Team Liquid.
Yeah, for Fnatic, Alphier 27-10. In this world of chaos that we've seen.
This is such a stupid toast. I like your luck, Captain Cal, but I hate this toast.
The best Tahoe in this stage. Wow.
That's crazy.
What an accolade to have.
To be fair, I
didn't read the last line. I'm sure it
yeah,
wasn't relevant.
I don't think it would matter either way with the way he's playing right now. I think he'd still be the best.
Yeah. I mean, his utility has been great. His ults have been great. His information gathering up there as well. But just him as an individual right now, he is dominant. As I was saying, in this world of chaos, he is the calm, the steady, the safe pair of hands every time they need him. We saw it in the end of the last round. And look where that's left Team Liquid. Weaknesses across the board. It's a dicey investment for them. They've got a rifle on Paddy, but the rest saving up some credits for the next and what could be the last.
Yeah, I think he's going for the accolade of highest statistical sentinel, duelist, and initiator. Smoke's coming soon.
That's going to be hard to fit in the trophy.
Sure, why not? Camo, up close. He is being tagged away, though. hasn't yet been spotted, but he is just taking more and more damage, and eventually, well, he's found Alpha here. Worthy trade, even going to pick up a gun, but immediately hits the deck after that. And while Paditech did have the one rifle they started the round with, but once again, you feel like the second this spike is down, it feels like the round's already over.
Dangerous Kiko as he's got the judge, and they've walked right into him. The round not over yet. In the darkness, that's where even a glimmer of hope can shine so bright. The guiding light leads the way, but Kiko is the one to fall. And now Paditech has to recover the 1v2. His teammate did it. He found a double, but time is against Paddy. He knows there's a player in the corner. The blast pack used to push him off. And a 3K from Kayak seals 12 in for Fnatic. 3 chances to close out their opponent's map pick.
Yeah, as we said, the attack sides from both of these teams is where you expected to see a large share of the rounds. And although Liquid did manage a 7-5 first half, it has been a very different story.
Bro? This guy is smoke or short, bro. And I died, I'm the last.
I think it's 27-11, you know? It's fine.
He is right, though. He's the last man in, and the guy's in the smoke. It's gotta be frustrating.
The funniest thing is, I think seconds before, Crashy had put a Prowler through, and it didn't hit him.
Yeah, he snuck through. I mean, you don't expect him to stand in a snake bite. I'll give him that, but...
Ults now, only really Chronicles. Crashy's is close, and for the opposing side, they're not going to likely have one this round unless Paditech or Kiko are able to get a double. Fnatic's pace is always difficult to play against. You want to deny them in those post plants, but the fact is they are so slow across the map that you're starved of information. Even with the double initiator. But they'll at least have a rough idea where they are right now.
My ult is ready.
No flashes left for Paditech. The investment's been deep in this round. The Util's the one that suffers, but Boaster, the one that really pays the price. He's been dropped towards that A site, but the push was always coming in here on B. And it's Nats through the smoke to drop Alpha. There's still credits for the next. There's ults powering up. Oh, but it's not over yet. I'm already thinking about round 23, but getting there is all on the back of Liquid. Kiko, he's been so reliable. He'll be needed again, but alongside Camo, it seems like they've got this one under wraps. 12-10 at least. They'll get one more round.
It does feel like that, doesn't it? Every single round, there's a moment where it seems like either side can turn it on its head, and a quick double in the mid there made it interesting, but with the full rotation of their squad already in position. And a stellar start.
Nice flash, Nikita. Good job, boys. Nice bunker.
The difference now goes down to just 2. As I said, the coaches are out until overtime. They can only watch on as their squads play.
Blinded.
Already a little bit of information. The thing is for Paditech, it lets him know that someone's there, but not a whole lot he can do about it right now.
Big rotation from Fnatic, but it's going to be the same play as last round. Less focused on long, more towards Suka. They think that's where the problem lay. Boaster playing slower outside of bathroom. Maybe just keeping the option open for them. They've now got hookah control, go back towards long, put this pressure on, draw the rotates. Boaster very slowly eking forward on that angle. I think they might look to TP, but Kayak ain't going to be with them. He's been hard punished.
Annoyingly though for Liquid, Paditech going down takes away the Seekers that they earned just moments ago. Now the spike starts a rotation back to the A side of the map. There is, however, still Camo here. This could just be a ruse though. I think this could just be sent in to try and sell the idea, but instead it seems like they're going to continue this push. Now the TP comes through, but I feel like Alpha has to be patient because he can't afford to go down.
Boaster's worried about that spam through the smoke after the game he's had. I'm not surprised, but there's a player on the side who's caught him off. Camo running in deep to take down Crashies, leaves Alpha alone, and I like the idea from Fnatic here, but as soon as that drone went through from Alpha here, The read was made. Liquid ran it back with Trex. They had that two-man hold, and now time is going to cost them the round, if not the shot of Camo to do it instead. 12-11, 1 round left. Overtime could be on the cards here.
Oh, it should be. The buy coming in for Fnatic absolutely sucks. They have completely run out of credits. They put everything into that round. And okay, sure, they do have ultimates to play with that will likely help them at least a little bit, but that was one where I felt like they had to throw everything in. A couple of Bulldogs purchased up alongside the Stingers. The fact is, if they can use the Showstopper get in and the Viper's Pit, this is still a terrifying round, and we know already what they're like with their util.
Of course, you know, that Viper's Pit with these weak weapons, you're always going to expect it to give you the leg up, but with Patatek having those Seekers, with double Initiator on the other side as well, between the Wingman, the Dizzy, the Guiding Lights, and the Dog, there's so much for Team Liquid to try to push Fnatic out of that ult, or at least find them inside of it, and we've seen how deadly the spams can be in this series. I don't think it's a guaranteed win, and for Fnatic, they'll need to get in position first. That's the showstopper to open. It's done damage, but it hasn't taken the player down. In fact, Camo, he's low. He's down to 1 with Decay, but he's still surviving on the back of the site for now. His health slowly coming back online, but it's left on 13. The man's lucky to be alive, but without that pick, they can't get forward. Down goes Chronicle. No pit to play inside of. No crashies to get them on site. This is falling apart at the seams for Fnatic. And as I see two players move towards long, if the idea is to TP, there will be something waiting for them on the other side.
There's no safe way out of this at this stage. Trex should have the round locked in.
30 seconds left.
And the rest of the players can just wait patiently. He's starting to wonder if maybe they've rotated back in the other direction, but if anything, the Boombot, it's not going to give the game away, actually. It might even put some doubt, but they are not moving. They've seen the utility. Panatek well placed, and now with 12 seconds left, OT, it looks inevitable. Boaster would need one of the clutches of all time, and it is not going to be happening. We said that this would be a banger of a game, and well, first map OT, it's delivering.
We're proven not to be liars. It's always a good feeling. What a game it has been. Constant adjustments from both sides to try to get this across the line. We move back to the defense for Fnatic, where, again, I think Alpha is going to be one hell of a threat to deal with, but those lurk-ups from Nats, we saw towards the end of the half, have so much value, where he played through his own utility, denied the defuse, and ultimately allowed the clock to decide how the pendulum swung.
It's interesting as well. I feel like a lot of the time when you go into OT, you get an immediate pause. You get someone who wants to throw in a strat, throw in some extra little bit of information, but neither of the coaches felt the need to try and talk to their squad in that moment. Maybe a game of pause chicken.
We heard it from Neil yesterday, right? Like, this just means that you're hearing the right things. You don't think the guys need a refresher. Fnatic remembering their mistakes, but maybe not, as Boaster goes down early again. And it's Kiko to find the double. He'll dive out, looking for more, but Crashies won't allow that. Eats the flash, but still finds the kill! And it's close onto Trex, but that stun makes it very difficult indeed. A quick reaction from Chronicle, catches Nats before he can link up with Trex. But Trex can now just go the long way around. He's taken the orb. He's got it.
This will get
And now he'll grab the plant. That means playing against Thrash in the post plant for Chronicle. That's going to make this very difficult.
No, but this always makes me nervous. He's gone running up. I don't know if Chronicle has actually heard the steps. It seems like he's turning back. Just pulls out his gun, but not in time. It's almost like he baited him with the idea of Thrash, and then got aggressive at the same time. Well played from Trex. And more importantly, Liquid, after a deficit, they now have a chance to close.
Yeah, that's such a nice play. Obviously, what's going through your mind, he's going to plant, he's going to fall back, he's going to run the clock down, he's going to use Thrash on me. If I don't hit those shots, I'm going to be stunned, and this round will end with a knife kill. But instead, he uses that. That's so smart from Trex. And 13 on the board for Team Liquid. A hard-fought series indeed. It was lights out from Fnatic starting their attack side, and they'll have to recapture that flame moving into this, what could be the last round of Bind.
Trex has been here a lot. He's been catching Boaster a couple of times, so instead they're sending the big dog Alpha. Yeah, but it's a different angle. This is much more aggressive than what we've seen from him so far. He was playing back in this exact spot most of the time. Switches it up and then just moves back, and Boaster goes, yeah, I remember that one, and immediately dies to the same thing. Trex is kicking it up a notch in OT. And well, Fnatic, they now have to try and fight back from a deficit, and guess what? This man has not left the showers. He's keeping it clean.
You're playing up against a guy who just won out that last clutch. He's got to have so much confidence to play with. And here we see it on display for the third time in the round. A lot of damage done, and certainly not a death sentence for Liquid. They get the information that the play is still towards A. The smoke goes down, but they cross through with that wall that's now soon to drop. But those players can be safe. The problem is, for a moment, they were splitting up. And if they were, it would be two players pushing on the other side. Kayak needs to clear his left when he comes out. He has, but Kiko hits the shot first anyways. Camo's there as well, and he'll close out the map. Team Liquid, 14-12. They fought their way back into this one. They have now got a one-map advantage going on to Fnatic's pick of Ascent.